What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing an analysis video on Blacklist International versus Geekfam. Alright, so why this game? Why exactly this game? This is game number 1, by the way. We're gonna do it because of the Baxia jungle that people have been asking me about, and how does it work? Why do people do it? Why is it possible? But first, let's look at the draft. So for the draft, let's look at Blacklist bans first. They actually banned Lunox, Natalia, and Selena, which are pretty common bans right now, to be honest with you. Nothing wrong with that. Lunox is high priority, especially in Indo. They like playing Lunox offlaner support. Then Selena obviously has a lot of utility, a lot of vision. Same with Natalia, gives a lot of information, and then really annoying early game. For the other side, we have Geekfam that banned Vendetta, Brody, which is like two of the most broken heroes right now in the game. Especially if you're not first pick, try to ban Vendetta and Brody. It's just like automatic. Moonton really needs to balance these heroes ASAP. They also banned Jawhead. Jawhead tank is still pretty good, still has a lot of pressure early game, and can counter and be just annoying early game. But for me, like, it could have been another ban, to be honest with you. I just don't like banning Jawhead because you could simply pick Valir and counter a Jawhead pick, but Valir is not really as picked as often right now, so I'm not sure why people don't play Valir. Because Valir counters Khalid, Hilda, Jawhead, like early game heroes that tend to invade. Even Baxia and Esmeralda and stuff like that, Valir is really good against. But we see Blacklist here first picking the Farsa. For me, I usually don't like first picking my supports, because for me, the support role, you should pick that hero depending on the team comp that your enemy throws at you. Yes, you have the risk of the enemy getting the Farsa, but then again, you don't know which support is going to be good until you see the enemy team comp. So I think you need to be like more patient. For me, at least, I would have first picked Barats here. There's Hilda still. Hilda tank is still really annoying. There's Yu Zhong. Uranus is not picked as often, by the way. Someone asked me on the previous video, why is Uranus not picked as often? His early game got nerfed. That's why Uranus is not first pick worthy or even ban worthy anymore. You cannot play as aggressive as before with Uranus pick. But the Farsa is still an okay pick. I'm not saying it's bad. It's an okay pick. Just something else could have been better, in my opinion. Esmeralda is still open, Alice is open, you know what I mean? But Alice is prone to getting countered, that's why they don't want to pick Alice yet. But I think Barats would have been like really safe. So now Geekfam has a lot of options, has a lot of heroes to pick from. So let's see what they pick. There's the Hilda I was talking about. And what else would they pick? They picked Ling, actually. Since he's a gap closer, Ling is good against Farsa. You can chase Farsa around whenever he turns into bird form. But also, they picked Ling here because I think they're kind of confident that they have Hilda to avoid the early game pressure. So nobody's going to be able to kind of invade your blue buff, Ling's blue buff. So that's why Ling is so good. Such a good combination with any early game hero, really. Like Hilda, Khalid, Jawhead. Khalid tank is not picked as often now because he got nerfed as well. But yeah, like early game heroes, Ling is really good at because he gets to farm comfortably. So that's why Ling is really good. And a lot of people think Ling is out of the meta because it's so hard to farm with Ling and you just get bullied early game. That really depends on your team composition. And with Geekfam right now, they have Hilda as early game for pressure so that Ling can farm freely. Alright, so you want to open up the map for your Ling. Let's see what Blacklist International will pick here. Still no Barats. I'm still a big fan of Barats, right? Same with my last analysis. Nobody picked Barats. Like, I mean, RPH picked Barats, but it wasn't until last pick. But these guys are going to throw in the Baxia. Baxia is actually really good against Hilda to avoid the regen, of course. And good against, like, Esmeralda and high sustain heroes because of the second skill. They also pick Lapu Lapu, which is a really good teamfight hero. Early game, though, Lapu Lapu's kind of trash. But once he hits level 4, Lapu Lapu's very strong and has a lot of sustain and a lot of AoE damage. If you think about it, Lapu Lapu AoE damage with Farsa is pretty insane already for Blacklist. Let's actually see what Geekfam will pick here to counter the Lapu Lapu or Baxia. Since they already have a support, they don't have to pick a support just yet. They could wait on it. They're not really worried about their support getting banned or whatnot or getting picked. But there is a lot of supports that got banned already. Natalia and Selena got banned already. So maybe that's a reason why Blacklist picked Farsa. Because they banned a lot of supports, as you can see. We know that Venus's hero pool is not the best, right? Venus also plays Estes, so that's something that only Blacklist, I've seen Blacklist do really well with the Estes. I don't know if Venus plays Kadita and Eudora. I'm pretty sure Venus plays Eudora, but I've never seen Venus play Kadita. Not really sure why Geekfam picked Esme though. On a Baxia, you're kind of just countering yourself, but they're not really worried about it, I guess. Because looking at this, Farsa will be building Necklace of Durance, and then you have Baxia with regen reduction with the second skill. I mean, if they pick Alice, it would have been the same thing because it's high sustain. And they banned the Estes actually, so they expect this Farsa to go to Wise and then the Estes to go to Venus. I guess the Mage will literally go to Wise, and then Venus will play like more of a support hero rather than a mage hero. So they did their research. Geekfam did their research. They're like, oh, we don't want to play against no Estes. We don't want to get out sustained. Because Estes with Lapu Lapu would be pretty nuts, I would say. Because high sustain with Estes heal, it's really, really strong. But then again, Hilda and Ling could end up killing Estes depending on the positioning, really. They also banned the Diggy, so they're trying to avoid a objective rush strat. If you remember, Blacklist was the one that did the objective rush with the Diggy team comp. So they want to avoid that as well. So the coach definitely did his research. Whoever he is, definitely well played. I like it. I like it. So that's something that you want to see, especially when you're going against teams like Blacklist. If you don't do your research, oh man, drafting against them is going to be a pain in the ass for you because they don't draft the usual way. That's what I like about Blacklist. Yes, they lost against Geekfam. Yes, they don't look as strong as like ROPH, let's say, but they're playing their own way. They're playing to their strengths. They have their own rotation and draft. And that's what I like about Blacklist. They have their own identity. They're trying to make their own meta, which I really like. I really, really like. And this is what I meant when I knew Venus was going to go to Blacklist. I'm more scared of the Venus shot calling and Bonchan combo with the draft and the strategies. Man, if they perfect it and if they enhance their strategies, Blacklist is going to be really, really scary. But let's keep going. Harith and Yu Zhang gets banned since these guys don't have a support yet. And we know that Harith mage support is now like a meta, you know, kind of popular right now, especially in professional scene. Hate's used it. Other teams have used it as well, but I only remember Hate for now. Yu Zhang gets banned. Yu Zhang is actually really good against Farsa, so they want to avoid that. So I'm okay with those bans. Kadita is actually really good against Farsa, by the way. So this is a really good pick from Geekfam. That should have been something that they could have thought of. Instead of Yu Zhang, I think it would have been better to ban Kadita. This Kadita is going to be really, really scary, and Kadita is still underrated up to this point. She's really, really strong in the current meta. The sustain on her passive is really, really good. When you almost die and then you heal it back up, they get outplayed and they get baited. The Petrify combo knockup is just super good. High mobility, pretty good wave clear. You have a knockup every 4 seconds. Kadita is actually so good this current patch. People in solo queue should play her more. Every time Blacklist wants to do a Baxia jungle, they do Marksman gold lane. Every time I notice. They did Mia last time and now they're gonna do Bruno. They want a late game hero. They want a late game hero whenever they have a Baxia jungle. From what I've noticed, it's very similar to League of Legends laning phase. Very similar. This Bruno is gonna have a support, which is gonna be this Popol and Koopa on the gold lane. So it's gonna be 2 people on the gold lane while Baxi is jungling and Lapu Lapu's offlaning and then Farsa is just clearing mid. So it's more of like they have a dedicated jungler instead of 3 people at mid lane and then they're doing 1-3-1. Kind of like League of Legends rotation, right? But for Geekfam right here, let's see what they're gonna pick next. They need like a gap closer to go against Popol and Koopa or someone that's really tanky. This is kind of hard to think of right now. One more fighter, I would say, that's more in the early stages of the game. Tamus, there it is. How could I forget about Tamus? God damn it. Early game, sustain, fighter, gap closer with second skill. I literally described Tamus. Okay, good pick from Geekfam. I just described what they were gonna pick. I just couldn't get the name out. It was Tamus. Good draft from both teams, honestly. It just depends on how Blacklist will try to use the strategy. How will they take advantage of the strategy? So why does Baxia jungle work? If you didn't know, Baxia's second skill resets on jungle minions, but not on regular minions. So every time you hit a jungle minion or enemy hero, your second skill, you can keep using it until you run out of mana. So that's why Baxia jungle works. Potentially, I think Akai could be a possible jungler as well, or Gatot. If you're trying to think of a tank jungler, possible. I'm not saying it would work. I've never tried it myself, but I think it could work. Alright, Akai jungle or Gatot jungle. Those are the only 2 tanks that I know that could possibly do it. Obviously, Baxia is probably the best pick for this. He also has a lot of sustain with the ulti once he hits level 4. He's gonna build Pillager Axe, so he's freaking tanky. And plus, he's gonna get level 4 a lot faster. That's why I think Akai is fit to do this. If Akai has Retribution and you hit level 4 super fast, you can make plays around the map and just jump. But the problem with Akai Retribution is you don't have Petrify to set for yourself. You really need to hit your ultis if you want to play Akai Retribution. For Gatot on the other hand, I think it would be better. Gatot jungle would be better, I would say, than Akai jungle. But it's definitely a possibility. I'm not saying it will work, just a possibility that I guess could work. As you can see, Baxia is doing the blue buff by himself. He wants the blue buff first so he doesn't run out of mana every time he spams his second skill. And then he has Retribution to secure the blue buff if need be, if he gets invaded. And also he has Concussive Blast. So as soon as the blue buff hits him, the Concussive Blast will also deal extra damage. So more wave clear for Baxia, right? And then we have Venus, like I said earlier. He's more on like a utility support on this Popol and Koopa. It's like a League of Legends rotation, right? Designated jungler. You have a mage mid that's doing solo. The good part about this is Weiss is gonna hit level 2 because he's clearing alone. Baxia is gonna hit level 2. He's clearing the blue buff alone. Lapu Lapu's gonna hit level 2. He's clearing alone. The only person that's not gonna hit level 2 is Popo because this guy's gonna have roaming item because Bruno needs it. So that's the only person that's not gonna hit level 2. This was one of the laning phase that I posted on my Facebook page when the Project Next came out. So let's see. Look, they're trying to invade Baxia, but he's too tanky. It's like really hard to invade. That's why Baxia jungle is a thing. Because if they try to invade, even when you have Hilda or if you have Tamils trying to invade you, it's so hard to kill this Baxia. He's just gonna keep trying to do the blue buff. See, he doesn't care if he gets poked by Kadita. Concussive Blast is about to go right there. And then he just retries. They cannot do anything, right? He's level 2. He could literally spin away. He doesn't have to, honestly. Look how tanky he is. Yeah, he just spins away and runs away. Then he's good. He just goes for red buff and starts using second skill for red buff. It's pretty self-explanatory. So it's pretty much to avoid early game invades. To negate it. Much. That's what Blacklist is doing. And from what it looks like, Baxia is a little bit low, under 50% health on this red buff, and Hilda's trying to invade still a Baxia, right? Hilda having a tough time trying to invade. Usually, let's say this Baxia was a Ling. Just for example, let's say this Baxia was a Ling. If that Ling got invaded right here on the blue buff, Ling would be like 10% HP, or maybe even dead. He wouldn't even be able to take the blue buff. Even if Ling got the blue buff, Ling is gonna end up going to the red buff, and then Ling is super low again, and then Hilda's just gonna smack you, and you're gonna die, right? So that's what Baxia jungler is for. It's to negate early game invade. Look at this Hilda. He cannot do anything. He's waiting for his retri to secure the red buff. Yes, sure, it got delayed. Sure. He just wanted to make sure that he secures this red buff if he's doing the jungle. So now he's trying to run away. Hilda's still actually doing a really good job at keeping this red buff delayed. But it doesn't matter, I would say. Baxia is gonna roll in and just do the red buff as soon as possible. And finally, Eson has Retribution. So now Hilda's invade is not gonna do much. Even if Kadita's here, it's not gonna do much. As you can see, Popol and Koopa is just gonna keep poking. Alright, there you go. And I think Hilda wants to reset the red buff. I'm kind of surprised that Hilda didn't run away to reset red buff. But that's alright, look. Baxia is not really worried because he's just gonna keep hitting the red buff with second skill, as you can see, because he has retri. He doesn't have to worry. So, look at that. As soon as Lapu Lapu hits level 4 against Tamils, jeez, a lot of sustain. Yeah, Lapu Lapu is really good right now, by the way, guys. Ban worthy even. So the red buff gets taken by, I don't know who, by Baxia still, but the Hilda got overstayed. Since Hilda was trying to invade so much, he was so focused in invading, as you can see. Right here, Hilda was so focused in trying to delay the Baxia jungle, that's really tanky, by the way. He got harassed by Popol and Koopa in Baxia's second skill, and the red buff. And that just got him the kill. Farsa's gonna ulti right here. Boop, one hit. And there you go. Baxia got the red buff, and I don't think Ling has enough damage to kill this Baxia. So that's why Baxia Retribution works. But the problem is, Bruno got overextended right here on bot lane. Knowing that Popol and Koopa is helping the Baxia, he shouldn't be overextending at all. He should be hugging the tower right now. But I think he face checks right here. He face checks the Kadita. Alright, without any vision at all. I think he wanted to help and try and kill Ling. But as a marksman player, you're not supposed to do this. You let your support and your tank do the face check for you. The enemy team were just here. Expect a Kadita right there. Yeah, he kind of face checks and he gets bursted by ulti. And I'm not really sure why Bruno doesn't have Purify instead of... Yeah, he has Flicker instead of Purify. I think Purify would have been better here in my opinion. Right, in my opinion, especially against Kadita. It's really important to have Purify against Kadita. You don't want to get bursted because that's always what's gonna happen. Farsa is just wave clearing mid. The blue buff is up. The problem here is I don't think Baxia is timing his buff, to be honest with you. Because he has retri, he should be back here by now. And he should be timing it. Like as soon as blue buff is up, you should be right there. Right now, so much time is wasted. I mean, this is probably something new for Eson. Obviously, he's not used to this type of gameplay or playstyle as a tank. And yep, there you go. Gets knocked up. Doesn't do a lot of damage on a Baxia, as you can see. The only problem I have here with the Baxia jungle is that still clears really slow. Meaning that if you don't delay the enemy core, they're gonna do the turtle faster than you, since you clear so slow. Plus, you most likely have to use your retri on the buffs, since you have the risk of getting it stolen. Since you don't have burst, you're a tank. You don't have complete burst on a buff. So you need retri to secure those buffs. And you're not going to be able to use the retri on the turtle. That's the only questionable thing that I would say about this draft. Alright, by drafting the Baxia jungle. But let's keep going here. Venus has vision. This is what a support is supposed to do. Just give vision to Bruno and open up the map for him, because he's going to be your core. They're pretty much doing their funnel at bot lane. Their core. Let's not call it a funnel. Funnel is like putting all the farm into one hero. A core is more reasonable, I would say. So here we go. Blacklist Beho. Still hasn't done anything. It's a Bruno. He needs items. So right here, nice dash. Yeah, the problem here is, look, I don't think they have enough pressure on this lane. This lane is like farming freely. That's the hard part with this draft. When you let a lane farm the jungle without any like problems at all, it's really hard to shut down a late game lane. Really hard. He's bound to get late game by like 10 minutes because he's been farming all the jungles, everything, and even got a turtle. Nice Petrify from Kadita, and that's what I mean by you need Purify, bro. Every time you go against Kadita, you need Purify, or even Eudora. Honestly, you better have Purify. Flicker is not gonna save you. Once you get petrified, you're so screwed. You can't do anything. You're not gonna be able to flicker out. It doesn't do anything. And because of that, Kadita's making the plays. They already have the 3v2 advantage. And if I was Blacklist, I would just be running away. And since it's a 3v2 advantage, the double buff that Baxia just got will just be gone right away right here. And this Bruno's most likely gonna die since he's gonna get 4-man gank. Hilda's gonna try to get regen. They're waiting for a minion. Tamos went in first. He has the most health. Very well executed gank, by the way. They let the Tamos go in first with the most health instead of the Hilda. Yes, Hilda is a tank, but she was really low. So this should be a kill on oh, he gets away, actually. Just kidding, he doesn't get away. But nice trade from Wise though. Just a little late though. I'm not sure if Wise dies here. I don't think he does. And gets away with 1 HP. Wow, so no trade. No trade, never mind. No trade for you. That's also the hard part of having a mage at mid. I feel like Wise hasn't been roaming as much as he should be. Because when you have a designated mage at mid, you're kind of stuck there just wave clearing and not doing anything. While you're not doing anything, he should be roaming around the map and helping the lanes that need help. But it's so hard for him to do that because he doesn't have vision. You have Baxia jungling. You don't have vision. So that's another problem I have. The first problem, you're being forced to use your retri. Second problem is the vision game. Right? You don't have vision. Even if Farsa tries to roam around the map, he doesn't know where Kadita is. He doesn't know where Ling is. Or Hilda is. He might die. It's really, really risky for him to fly around the map. The third problem is no pressure on the lane core. So this is why I'm really like, I kind of question this draft or this playstyle. I get what they're aiming for, but I just don't see it logical because it's not worth it. Yes, you're negating the early game invade, but there's so many other important things that a tank should be doing for the team instead of trying to secure the buff. You know what I mean? The Baxia jungle is the same level as a Hilda that's been invading the whole game, which is unacceptable. That's not supposed to happen. Like, you're securing the buff, but you're still the same level as a Hilda that has roaming item and that's been roaming around the enemy jungle the whole game. So it just doesn't add up. Yeah, I don't know if they should keep doing this strat. Obviously, it's gonna work against some other teams, but against teams like this, I just don't see it working at all. Any top tier teams, I just don't see it working at all. I think they did this against Resurgence, but I think they lost as well. Yeah, I think they did this against Resurgence, but lost as well. Alright, so here we go. Esmeralda's winning his lane. Well, they switch actually. Thamus was top lane and Esmeralda was bot lane, but they switch. So that's a good switch, I would say. Esmeralda could sustain Lapu-Lapu damage. Now that they're so ahead, Ling got farm, they could simply invade and just put pressure in the jungle. Baxia can't do anything. He's pretty much just a meat shield. Meat shield. The only thing he's good for is the regen. Reduce regen, HP regen against Esmeralda and Hilda. And Tamus. So, but they're really not worried about that. Look at, oh my god, look at that Ling. Really, he's showing off right now, kinda. They almost got the tower there. It's 1 HP, but it doesn't matter. They're about to get it right now. Let's see here. Hilda's trying to just put pressure. Look, they have nothing because Bruno's so underfed too. Still 2 levels behind Ling. Both the offlaners also won their lane. The thing about this is, if you really want to make this strat work, starting from early game, your 2 players here are doing a 2v1. You should be bullying this lane really hard with a 2v1. This lane, this bot lane, because you have 2 people there against 1. But the problem is Geekfam kept focusing that lane because they know that, you know, he's outnumbered, so he needs help. You'll see Kadita and Hilda gank here a lot, and Ling. They don't really gank top lane. You never really saw a gank top lane. They needed to be more aggressive. The Bruno and Popol and Koopa needed to be more aggressive. And this could have been like Avarice, actually, instead of this. Instead of Tenacity. Poke with your wolf and then you get gold every time you first kill the enemy. Get 10 gold. And then you just build tanky after that. You have Baxia as your main tank anyway, so why you need Tenacity for Popol and Koopa? I think Avarice would have been better here, actually. This is very nice from Hilda blocking the first skill from Baxia. Something, a small detail right there, but very good. Yeah, they can't do anything. They don't have pressure in the front line, see? They have Baxia in the back line instead of front line because he's the one that has retribution. He's a little too late right now. They're trying to back off. They got a second tier tower top lane. To be honest, Geekfam don't even need to fight this, but they gotta pick off on Baxia here. It doesn't do anything. And they just get snowballed from there. There's really not much to it. I don't think this strat is effective, honestly, unless your gold lane members or heroes are more aggressive. If they play passive like this, they're just playing into Geekfam's hands, honestly. You're not taking advantage of what you have. And you better expect a gank as well. You better expect a gank. I mean, the traps are there to give vision for you, so you don't need to be there. You could be poking with your wolf and let your trap do the vision. Nothing else. They just get snowballed. Nothing happens here. Look, they just lose team fights. They're so ahead. As long as Geekfam don't get too greedy, they win. As long as they don't get too greedy and then they play it safe and smart, they win. So now they gotta wait for Lord. It's only gonna be first level Lord after 30 seconds. And they're actually denying a lot of resources as well while waiting for this Lord. So this is like pretty basic game sense. This is nothing new, nothing special, honestly. I just don't think this Baxia jungle really worked out for Blacklist here. I wouldn't say it's super bad. It could work. Really depends on the situation. It could work. I could see it working, honestly. It's not stupid. I'm not calling this strat stupid. Alright, so don't get the wrong idea about this video. It's just that here, it just doesn't make sense at all. Okay, what else happens? The red buff is up. Okay, Kadita is going for a mega kill. And I think Geekfam waited for a level 2 Lord. Yeah, I think they're waiting for it. See, they don't even want to do the Lord, even though they have the advantage. They just want to go straight for level 2. They don't want to waste any time. So that's a small detail that we want, that you can take out of this video at least. If your towers are all gone, like for example right here on the minimap, first tier tower is gone, second tier towers are gone, right? All of these are gone. It's better for you to take the second level Lord, the enhanced Lord, rather than the first level Lord. Since most likely you need the enhanced Lord to push into this tower. It's really hard for the level 1 Lord to push an inhib tower. So it's better for you to play patient and wait and just freeze the lane. Look at them. They're not even pushing. Look at Tamos just sitting still. They're not even pushing the bot lane. They're just waiting in the bush. They're freezing the lane, so they want to force Blacklist to get out of the base and try to wave clear so they get some gold. If they freeze the lane right here, in like the middle of the lane, if they freeze the minion wave over there, Blacklist is going to be forced to get out of their base and try to gain vision. Because if Geekfam is not wave clearing, there's no gold income that they're going to get. So this is something that some professional teams don't do yet. Of course, majority of the pro teams do this, but I'm just showing you guys this now, alright? So this is why they're not pushing. Look, they're not pushing mid. Tamos is not pushing top. You see? It's called freezing lane. So now it's a level 2 Lord. This time, Geekfam can start moving and try to bait out this level 2 Lord. Blacklist don't have any vision on the Lord, so they don't know if Esmeralda is soloing this Lord. So they need to check, and in some way, They need to check. Look, Esmeralda started it since it's a level 2 Lord, and we have Link split pushing here at bot lane. So this is perfect coordination. They're trying to make Blacklist pick. Do they want to contest for the Lord, or do you guys need to defend bot lane? And even then, if they end up getting the Lord, Ling is probably going to clean up. And he could just dash all the way to the Lord to last hit it with retribution. Now the minion wave is favored towards Geekfam, because he cleared a minion wave here. So this should be an easy Lord, actually. Nothing more to explain here. They should be able to freeze the lane so that all of these lanes meet the inhibitors all at the same time. So it's really hard for Blacklist to defend, even with the Farsa. So let's see how Geekfam would use this. We've already seen things like this before on our analysis, so this is nothing new. And look at the Farsa. Actually wave clearing that Lord really fast. The bad part about this is Geekfam did not wave clear these things right here, because when you don't wave clear that, the Lord is forced to focus those minions instead of, you know, charging into the tower. So they actually needed to wave clear the minions for the Lord to push, and they kind of fucked up. They waited way too long. Look, they're not wave clearing it right now. Nobody is. Really, it's too late. See, there's still a big freaking minion right there. So, but they still have super minions either way. So let's see if they can get an inhib tower. They didn't actually. So very good. That was actually a really good defense from Blacklist. But what will happen here? There's gonna be more quietness. We're just wasting our time here. They're gonna wait for a pickoff and wait for the next Lord. That's it. Nothing's gonna happen until the next Lord. They're gonna do the same thing. They're just gonna freeze lane. See? Freeze lane. They're not gonna push as much. Kadita's actually pushing here. Not sure why. But Esmeralda, look, she's not pushing top lane, and Ling is not pushing bot lane. They're trying to get just a pick-off. They're trying to pick off and not get all the resources that Blacklist has. So they're just gonna wait. Look, there's nothing happening. They're just kind of poking. Baxia got caught. Let me check that out. Why? The Lord is not up yet, not close. I think he forced the red buff. Right there, he jumped to try and steal the red buff, and because of that, he gets freaking bursted. That's why. He forced it. That was not... Your death was not worth it. Plus, you're a Baxia. Why you need red buff, bro? The Lord is finally up. Like I said, it was gonna be quiet unless someone fucks up or mispositions, which Baxia did. And they're just gonna take the Lord and push for the win. There's really much not to say about this game. There you go. See, no minions, meaning that the Lord can charge up. This tower is gonna be down right away. Finally, an inhib tower. Very good zoning from Geekfam's tanks, by the way, and the Tamus. Kadita was forced to try and zone out the Bruno so that he's not able to clear the Lord. Look at the Lord, still at 70% health, but it's gonna get bursted by Bruno here. They almost got a second tier tower, inhibitor tower here at bot lane. Nice Esmeralda ulti, by the way. But this looks like a very messy, how do you say this? Very messy dive from Geekfam. They're just really confident at this point. Yeah, they're really confident that they could beat this, guys. They're dying for no reason, honestly, right here. They shouldn't be fighting. Geekfam is kind of throwing a little bit, actually, right here. They should not be fighting and diving like that. There's no reason for you to do this. They're just BMing or disrespecting Blacklist at this point. It's not something that you want to do. So now they gotta wait for another Lord. See what I mean? Make sure that the lanes are frozen as much as possible. The Lord is up, and they're just trying to bait out the Lord. If they overextend, Geekfam just goes for the fight. As you can see, Esmeralda goes in. They don't have anything. Blacklist was forced to retreat, knowing that they have a lot of sustain, so they can just do the Lord, and they push with the Lord, and then GG. And that's it. Well played. To summarize it, the reason why teams are doing Baxia jungle is to avoid the early game invade. All right. But there's many disadvantages when you do this. First, you don't have vision for your mage support, so the mage support cannot roam freely because you don't know where the hill is, you don't know where Kadita is, so it's really scary to roam around as far as to fly around even. Another thing is you're forced to use retri every time you try and secure a buff. Alright, so you're not going to be able to secure turtles because you're going to be using retri on the blue buff. When an enemy is, you know, invading you, you're always going to be forced to use retri on the buff. Another thing is the enemy core will farm freely. Enemy core will farm freely because you don't have any pressure. When the tank is the jungler, you don't have any pressure on the enemy core, so the Ling is going to get to late game super fast because he's farming around the freaking jungle freely. Another thing is tank with retribution. Not usually something that you want to see. Usually you'll have sprint, revitalize, so you're more tankier. But yeah, that's about it. If you have any opinions about this draft or this strategy, then please comment that below on the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and don't forget to hit the notification bell for more analysis and more tutorials that are coming. Alright, and thank you guys for watching, and I'm out. Peace.